Hello guys, so today we would like to present you the material about establishing a pay structure. But first of all, I would like to introduce you guys to the group 4 member. The members is including me, Davindu Pratamo Caksono, and my friend Degal Farizi Hasibuan. So the topic will be divided by two parts. The first part is talking about decisions to establishing a pay structure, legal requirements for pay policies, and how employees evaluate the fairness of a pay structure. Okay, so right now we're talking about the decisions to establishing a pay structure. A job structure establishes relative pay for different jobs within the organization. Organizations establish relative pay for different functions and different levels of responsibility for each function. They also must establish pay levels or the average pay for the different jobs. These decisions are based on the organization's goals, market data, legal requirements, and the principle of fairness. Altogether, the job structure and pay levels establish a pay structure policy. Next, we're gonna talk about legal requirements for pay policies. To meet the standard of equal employment opportunity, employer must provide equal pay for equal work, regardless of an employee age, race, sex, or other protected status. Differences in pay must relate to factors such as persons' qualifications or market levels of pay. Under the Fair Labor Standards Act or FLSA, the employer must pay at least the minimum wage established by law. But some state and local governments have established higher minimum wages. For example, in Bandar Lampung, the minimum wage reached 3,103,631 rupiahs. The FLSA also requires overtime pay at 1.5 times the employee's regular pay rate, including bonuses for hours worked beyond 40 hours in each week, and the managers, professionals, and outside salespersons are exempt from the overtime pay requirement. Also, the employers must meet FLSA requirements concerning child labor, because in the early years of the Industrial Revolutions, employers could pay low wages by hiring children. The FLSA now sharply restricts the use of child labor with the aim of protecting children's health, safety, and educational opportunities. The restrictions apply to children younger than 18. Besides the FLSA, state laws also restrict the use of child labor. Many states have laws requiring working papers or working permits for minors, and many states restrict the number of hours or times of day that minors aged 16 and older may work. Before hiring any workers under the age of 18, employer must ensure they are complying with the child labor laws of their state, as well as the FLSA requirements for their industry. Right now, we're gonna talk about how employees evaluate the fairness of a pay structure. According to the equity theory, employees think of their pay relative to their inputs such as training, experience, and effort. To decide whether their pay is equitable, they compare their outcome or input ratio with other people's outcome or input ratios. Employees make these comparisons with people doing the same job in other organizations and with people doing the same or different jobs in the same organization. And if employees conclude that their outcome or input ratio is less than the comparison's persons, they conclude that their pay is unfair and may engage in behaviors to create a situations they think is fair.
For part 2, we have three topics. The first one is job structure, relative value to the jobs. The second one is alternative to job-based pay. And the third one is pay structure and actual pay. Job structure, relative value of jobs. In general, an organization's top executive have a great impact on the organization's performance, so they tend to have paid much more than entry-level workers. Executive at the same level of the organization, for example, the vice president of marketing and the vice president of information system tend to be paid similar amounts. Creation of a pay structure requires that the organization develop an internal structure showing the relative contribution of its various jobs. Now we have pay rates and pay differentials. Pay rates are hourly wage rate of pay per hour work, pitch work rate of pay per unit produced, and salary rate of pay per week, month, or year work. Pay differentials is adjustment to a pay rate to reflect difference in working condition or labor markets. Next, we have pay range. Pay range is a set of possible pay rates defined by a minimum, maximum, and midpoint of pay for employees holding a particular job or a job within a particular pay grade. And pay grades is a set of jobs having similar words of content grouped together to establish rates of pay. And now we have pay structure and actual pay. The structure represents the organization's policy, but what the organization actually does may be different. As a part of its management responsibility, the HR department therefore should compare actual pay to the pay structure, making sure that the policies and practice are matched. Assuming the organization has pay grades, the organization would find a compare ratio for each pay grade. The average paid to all employees in the pay grades divided by the midpoint for the pay grade. Next, we have alternative to job-based pay. First one is delayering, reducing the number of levels in the organization's job structure. The second one is skill-based pay systems, pay structures that sets pay according to the employee's level of skill or knowledge and what they are capable of doing.